measurements technicians use to verify these lower pressures are called manometers. They are either electronic or fluid types that actually use water on a scaled column or oil. I've just got water here. Water and oil types are scaled differently. The fluid type manometers need to be filled to a reading of 0 before using them. I like the water type the best, but the electronic types are gaining wide popularity in the field today. No matter what type manometer you decide to use, once you understand the pressure scale you measure in, verifying and adjusting the manifold gas pressure is a relatively simple process. Gas valves have access ports at the inlet and outlet of the gas valve to measure the incoming supply pressure and the outgoing manifold pressure. They are typically marked with an indicator stamped on the valve body as in, out, or an arrow. They also come equipped with another built-in gas regulator to adjust the manifold pressure right at the furnace. Up until recently, these access ports were exclusively an 1/8" threaded female fitting that comes with a 3/16" Allen head plug. This plug is removed from the valve body with a 3/16" Allen wrench and fitted with a brass 1/8" male threaded by 1/8" barb fitting. A hose is then fitted over the barb fitting and feeds into the manometer to read the pressure at the access port. Newer valves often come with a smaller Allen style fitting screw, which is turned counterclockwise 1 full turn without removing the screw. This 3/32" Allen head screw head is surrounded by a built-up shoulder that a 1/4" inside diameter hose fits over without a brass barb fitting to get a pressure reading at the access port. To measure the gas pressure at the inlet of the gas valve, you close the main gas shutoff valve at the furnace. Open the inlet pressure port on the gas valve and tie the manifold hose into the access port. If you have the old style access port, make sure you put the plug in a safe place that it won't get lost while you're taking the pressure reading. Next, you simply open the main shutoff valve and see what the pressure on the manifold gauge reads. It should fall between the minimum and maximum value listed on the furnace tag and stay above the minimum value when the gas-fired equipment runs. The manifold pressure reading is taken the exact same way, but you have to get the reading on the outlet side of the gas valve with the gas valve energized and the burners running. You must make sure the manometer hose is connected and there are no access plugs that are left open where gas could come out and ignite at a place other than the burner itself. To observe inlet pressure and manifold pressure at the same time, you would need 2 manometers. If you only have 1 manometer, it is okay to assume that if the manifold pressure can be adjusted and maintained while the unit is running, then the inlet pressure is good. It's important to remember that when you are done taking your pressure measurements and adjusting the manifold pressure, that all the access ports on the valve get closed back up again before returning the unit to regular service. Any access ports that are left open will leak and cause a very dangerous situation that could result in a fire and explosion. Now it's time to adjust the manifold pressure itself. Furnace gas valves have a built-in pressure regulator that comes with an adjustment screw on it. The screw is covered by a protective cap that is about the size of a dime. This cap can be removed with a flat-tip screwdriver. The regulator screw should always have this protective cover in place unless there is a manifold gas pressure adjustment to be made. When observing the manifold pressure with the burners of the furnace firing, note the furnace manifold pressure rating from the furnace tag and verify that it matches the tag rating from the manometer pressure reading. If the pressure does not match the tag rating, then increase or decrease the manifold pressure as necessary. Manifold pressure is increased by turning the regulator screw clockwise and decreased by turning it counterclockwise. The typical manifold pressure for most natural gas furnaces is commonly 3.5 inches of water column and for propane it is 10 to 11 inches of water column. Propane is heavier than natural gas and therefore needs a higher delivery pressure. It is also more dangerous than natural gas because propane is also heavier than air, while natural gas is not. When natural gas leaks on a system, it will float away in the air. If a propane leak develops on a system, it will pool up in low spots and can accumulate to dangerous levels until ignited by an unwanted ignition source. So again, the most important part of checking gas pressure is making sure all the access ports that are open for obtaining pressure readings are closed off again before returning the furnace to regular service. You should all know how to correctly determine and adjust manifold gas pressure.